Good morning. Welcome back to Deb's True Crime Notebook. I hope you had a great weekend. We do have a continuation of the Richard Allen trial. This morning, the defense is presenting their side, and this is day 15 of this trial. It looks like they have a neuropsychologist on the stand this morning, talking about Richard Allen's behavior and his mental status during the time that he was at Westville. So let's find out what they have to say. On Monday morning, Richard Allen carried a Bible as he arrived in the courtroom, dressed in a blue striped button-down shirt and khaki pants. While seated with the defense attorney Andrew Baldwin, he reportedly shared a verse from his Bible. Special Judge Fran Gull and the jury entered the courtroom shortly after 9, at which point the defense called their first witness, Dr. Polly Westcott. Westcott, a neuropsychologist from Carmel, testified that her expertise lies in forensic psychology and neuropsychology. She was hired by Baldwin and defense attorney Brad Rosie in May 2023 to evaluate Allen's mental, emotional, and physical deterioration during his time at Westville. Westcott had access to Allen's mental health treatment records, prison video footage, and his recorded calls. She mentioned to the jury that she gathered more information about Allen than in any other criminal case she had previously handled. However, she noted that she ceased receiving videos of Allen in March of 2024. In August 2023, she met with Allen in Westville and conducted the assessment over 2 days. Westcott also communicated with his wife Kathy to gather further insight about Richard Allen. Through her evaluation, she discovered that Allen had a comprehensive mental health history, revealing he experienced severe anxiety during his childhood and began anxiety medication in his 20s. She noted that Allen also faced challenges with depression, fear of failure, and suicidal thoughts throughout his young adulthood and beyond. Additionally, she learned from Allen that his wife played a vital role in helping him to rebuild himself. In her assessment, she evaluated Allen for a personality disorder and concluded that he had dependent personality disorder. This type of anxious personality disorder leaves individuals feeling helpless, struggling with decision-making, and unable to care for themselves. Westcott indicated that Allen depended on his wife, mother, and family to feel complete. Westcott reached 6 key conclusions in her evaluation. Allen has long-standing history of mental health challenges. He was neither faking nor exaggerating his symptoms. Allen takes longer to understand, process, and respond to information. He experienced a significant decline in mental health while in Westville. Allen suffers from major depressive disorder and has slipped into psychosis as a result of stress. His brain chemistry changed during his time in prison, exacerbated by the lack of contact with his wife and family. Rosie provided Westcott with Allen's writing samples that she had previously assessed, including a letter he wrote in November 2022 requesting assistance from the court and another letter addressed to Kathy prior to his incarceration. The prosecution raised objections to the inclusion of handwritten letters, labeling them as hearsay. In response, Judge Gull called for a sidebar discussion and subsequently allowed the writing samples into evidence after redacting certain words. Rosie then requested that Westcott assess the handwriting rather than the content of the samples. Westcott noted that the November 2022 sample was organized and well thought out, but pointed out that a later sample exhibited a completely different structure that was fragmented. After analyzing the samples, Westcott proceeded to share her evaluation of Richard Allen. She mentioned administering a mild cognitive impairment, MCI, test, a thorough assessment for personality traits and mental health disorders, which also aimed to determine if Allen was feigning his symptoms. The state objected once more, asserting that they had requested a copy of these results but had not received them. Rosie clarified that the results could only be provided to a mental health professional and noted that the state did not even take the time to depose Westcott. Westcott reaffirmed her belief that Allen was not feigning his mental illness. She conducted a total of 25 tests on Allen, concluding that he was not very resilient. when faced with stress. Westcott noted that he was susceptible to decompensation and could experience psychosis, which was evident in his behavior from December 2022 to July 2023. She further explained that Alan's brain chemistry had been altered due to sensory deprivation while in solitary confinement. Westcott also addressed the findings of Dr. Monica Walla, who had served as Alan's psychologist at Westville. Walla reported that Alan's confession about the murders were delivered in a story-like manner. However, Westcott pulled out that the accompanying videos did not align logically with his accounts. She described Alan's mental state during solitary confinement as akin to a funhouse, expressing concerns that he might be experiencing delirium. Prosecuting attorney Deputy Stacy Diener commenced her cross-examination by highlighting that Walla had visited Alan daily, suggesting he was not completely deprived of social interaction. She inquired whether Westcott had received all the Department of Corrections records, to which Westcott responded that she believed she had, as she had access to information from each day Alan spent at Westville. Westcott informed the jury at one point Alan stated Satan killed the girls, leading her to feel he was making statements inconsistent with reality. She noted that Alan appeared unaware she was going to meet with him. Diener inquired whether Alan's dependency might have shifted from his wife to Walla, to which Westcott responded no, clarifying that Alan was solely confiding in her. She mentioned that some of the videos she received from Alan lacked timestamps and emphasized that she gave suicide companion notes a certain amount of weight in her overall evaluation. Westcott explained that the individuals experiencing psychosis are not in the same reality as others, but can still convey factual information. Diener pointed out that 2 of Alan's confessions were not included in Westcott's report and questioned their significance. Westcott confirmed she had utilized those confessions and provided a summary in the report. With that, Diener concluded her cross-examination, and the jury posed several questions regarding Alan's mental health history. If Mr. Allen possesses the common sense to be fearful of leaving his cell, does he also have the sense to feign his symptoms? Westcott noted that Alan's expression of fear occurred prior to his psychotic episode. If someone experienced depression as a child, would that necessarily lead to criminal behavior in adulthood? Westcott explained that this is not always the case and varies based on personality type. Could childhood depression result in someone becoming a sex addict? Westcott responded with a firm no. Did you watch Alan's police interview from October 2022? Westcott confirmed that she did. These are the questions that the jury posed to Dr. Westcott. And that's the information from this morning's session, day 15, in the Richard Allen trial. Looks like most of the morning was taken up by testimony from Dr. Westcott, a neuropsychologist from Carmel, Indiana. We'll see you this afternoon for an update on what happens in court this afternoon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell for all notifications, share this with your friends and in groups, and leave us a comment. We'll see you in a few.